Hey, Roaring! Hey, Roaring! Hey, Roaring! Jeg har en turf in Tooms penis.
Garbage! 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 Garbage!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Schmodown Entertainment Network SEN Live. It is, I guess, a brand new era today. A lot of new stuff coming your way. You skunks. You're going to have a good day, because I had a good day putting together this announcement for all you. Historic day for the Schmodown Entertainment Network. We're excited about it. And joining us on the show today, the one and only RB3. Looking very calm today. Not that you don't always look calm, but today you look like extraordinarily calm. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Well, I watched a good Charlie Kaufman movie this morning, so.
Okay. So good state. Ben Goddard is here.
You started your day off with that movie, RB3?
Oh yeah.
Sheesh.
Kay Mulligan sending me airport pictures this morning, so she's here. It's nice.
Sad.
Yeah, it was funny. She sent me this video of us in New York, and she's like, here's something sad, and it's us getting off the plane in New York. And I said, yeah, this is sad. I look like I have 13 chins. And then we have the one and only Winston Marshall.
Hey man, I got a problem.
Oh, swaggy.
I got a problem. You see that laundry right there? That's sitting in that bag from doing laundry because I discovered Fall Guys. I hate my life.
What is that? Is that a video game?
How many crowns do you have, Winston?
Matter of fact, I have one final round appearance in like 10 games. Look, bitch, I saw your victory. Hush.
I'm gonna ask you guys to stop speaking German, please. All right. Speaking to Brett Sheridan. He's here. How are you, buddy?
I just here and woo.
Oh yeah, you're in a mood, huh?
I don't know.
You got the shits?
No, I'm just excited to hear about all these new shows.
We don't need to do the run the promo video, Kristian. We got it. That was it.
That was it. I mean, you're gonna Brett Sheridan, the new spokesman for SEN.
I feel like, Brett Sheridan, the ultimate fan. That was great, yo.
No, I know Brett Sheridan so well that I know exactly what that stupid comment made. I didn't get my phone call, asshole. There's a great Patreon show going on right now with you and Kate. That's on every Friday on the SEN Live.
Yes. We got a special guest today.
Who do you got?
Yeah.
Dickie Murphy.
Oh, that's cool. I think that is a very special guest. A lot of people.
It is a very special guest.
A lot of people want to know,
who is crawling through the background.
You know what?
Seeing him crawl inconspicuously in the background, find out who he is.
My God.
You know what's funny about that is that when you posted that picture of him crawling around in the background, I wouldn't even notice it. This looks like a heap of laundry.
A bony heap. The funniest thing was, if you go back, it's like an hour and 5 minutes and like 20 seconds. You and Seth, the director of Action Park, are talking about. You're like, well, and how did you balance the humor with the da-da-da? And he's like, yeah, no, I mean, like, you're like, people died there. And then I see over my shoulder little Crawley McGillicuddy come in. I immediately laugh, turn, and then realize we're talking about death. And I can't call him out because I wanted to be like, oh, you guys think he thinks he can't be seen. And I'm like, no, we have a guest. So I just start doing this. And I tried to cover him on the way back out, and I was like, you want to be on the show so bad? You're our guest this Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, so good. So he's going to be on the show, and that show, by the way, on SEN Live, it's like the premiere show on the Patreon. We got to make sure that you guys go on over there, support it. If you're at the $10 level and up, you get the Brett and Kate show. You should go and check that out because it's great. There's going to be more, especially after today's announcements, there's going to be more Patreon shows on both Schmodown and on SEN. But we're going to have a big announcement today. I'd tell you around like 10:30 is when we're going to let you know about all of the shows and everything that we're doing. We're very excited about it. We have some new people joining the network and some new ideas that I think you guys are going to love. I hope you're going to love it. And in order, as you guys know, as you've been watching the show since it began in November, we are very dependent on the fact that if you guys are liking the show, then you'll go to streamlabs.com/theschmodown and you guys will donate if you can. because that is how this network is run. It's how it has been run and successfully been run because of all the generous donations you guys have given. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. We're taking a risk with these new shows, but I believe that you guys are going to love them so much that we're going to be able to continue on doing what we're doing the way that we've been doing it. And then eventually, when the world gets better, then maybe we'll get some sponsors. But right now, it's streamlabs.com/theschmodown. Go on over. If you're able to put in a Schmobot, make sure you do that now up until around 10:30. And then we're gonna run we're gonna tell you about everything that's going on with the new shows, and then we're gonna cut the Schmobot off for a little bit so we can really get into it. I want to see your reactions. So if you support it and you support the new shows, please, if you can, give a donation today at streamlabs.com/theschmodown. All right, before we get into those things, we're gonna try to rush through news, but still cover it well enough. And Ben Goddard, what do we got going on today in the world of the news? Batman, what's going on with the Batman?
Batman, unfortunately, Batman himself, Robert Pattinson, contracted COVID on the set of the Batman series. Warner Brothers and representation have yet to officially confirm the news, but the shutdown reports encompass the entire production at Leaves Den Studios. Warner Brothers said in a brief statement, quote, "A member of the Batman production has tested positive for COVID-19 and is isolating in accordance with established protocols. Filming is temporarily paused," end quote. So we saw this happen, and then what other set? I feel like another set tested positive. Some like everything's going back to filming, but people aren't either following the strict protocols or.
$1, 2, 3 into the faux Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the do ready to make an entrance, so back on up cause you know about to rip shit up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Long Beach together.
Now you know you in trouble, cause ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
Too loped out. Oh, never mind.
You were gonna say feminine type white guy, babe. That's where you're going with that, right?
Oh, wow.
I knew the radio it's on the radio.
All right, so the Batman. All right, the Batman. I will tell you this: that it's. I saw someone posted out earlier today. I think it was Josh Quevedo. He's talked about you don't put your masks on now because great movies like the Batman are now being postponed. So put your mask on. It's like yeah, who knows how.
Donated $20. I am endorsing all the new shows. Believe me, it's going to be great. So many people, the best people. Believe me, we get the best donations, the best fans. Believe me, Kate's so great, Brett's so great. We got shows. Unlike Batman, not good. Believe me.
The fun, it's amazing though what this show has quickly turned into Saturday Night Live. We have an Obama impressionist.
Yes.
We have a Trump impressionist. It is very look, and I got to tell you, as much as I don't like to give Roka credit when he's trying to be funny, he's actually really funny with that Trump impression.
Good.
It's really good. It's really good, and I break chops. He's actually very funny. I think sneaky. I think Roka is sneaky funny because he knows how to do that sarcastic humor.
Have you seen old man Roka?
Every day when he's on the show.
No. I mean, the low blow. That's that right there. But I
gotta ask. Wait, we're gonna cut you off. Bibiani is asking the question that I want to ask. Who is cutting a lawn inside of their house?
Look, man, it's not my
fault. I didn't want to say it, but
it's not my fault.
You don't have to say it. It's like it pretty much sounds like an airplane is flying around behind somebody's microphone.
I have said this a million times and it drives me fucking crazy. I'm like, look, lady, I gotta fucking stream typically from 10 to noon. Can you have the guys come at noon?
Well, if you say that, hey, look, fuck face. I don't think she's gonna really respond.
Well, okay. The thing is, so here's what had happened. What had happened was there was a sign outside this place that says no pets, right?
Yes.
And then I, because hella depression because of COVID and shit, got a dog and have an appropriate thing from my therapist saying I could have a dog, and she was like, oh, so you just go do that sign on me shit? You don't like signs? Can you read? And I was like, bitch. And so now we just don't really like each other.
All right, let me. That's fine, and I can always appreciate neighbor wars. But what I'm going to ask you is, Do you think when you're not talking that it's possible for you to mute your microphone?
Sure.
Look about the neighbor feud.
Wow. I could go so many directions with this. That's fine.
And again, Winston, kill him with kindness. I don't think calling her a bitch was a good way to smooth that one
I didn't actually call her a bitch. I did with my mind. You have to understand, black people, a lot of times we talk with our mind. Like right now when Kristian was like, "Can you mute your mic?" I was.
Yeah, right. Listen, but when he does that, listen. Peaceful.
Just for that.
Yeah, and now it sounds like the Rocketeer is flying back and forth and testing out his jetpack and smashing into the garage. All right, let's finish with the Batman here because this is.
How was that a reference you had at your fingertips? That was amazing.
I've been seeing the jetpack at the LAX, dude. Man, that's crazy.
Did you see what the reporters, not the reporter, but the pilot said? When there was some, for people who didn't know, there was some guy in a jetpack in LA, and they had to they saw it from the plane, and the report from the pilot is only in LA. There's these guys flying around in a jetpack. Yeah, but you know, the first thing that comes to my mind besides Rocketeer on that side is I want one. But then the second thing is, I would be like Pee Wee Herman in Big Adventure, where, you know, when he gets the motorcycle, and he's so excited, and then he just goes right into the sign.
Yep.
Like I would go directly into a plane, or I'd go crashing into the the actual airport itself. So that's
yeah, there were those water ski ones, like where it was like pumping water and shooting it out, and I just know that I'd like dive down and it would just shoot me straight down to the ocean and I'd die.
You know, it's like
Yo, is this any better? Because now this is my display mic. Is it not catching as much of the?
Yeah, now you sound like you're in the Bat Cave. You sound great. Okay. You sound good. You sound perfect.
You sound like you're in the Rocketeer's garage.
Wow, everybody got jokes today.
It sounds. Yeah,
you should go outside and say, "Listen, bitches, stop."
Say, bitch.
Yo, you wanna know real talk? You wanna know something though? What drives me fucking crazy is that for some reason these lawnmower people are here every day or every other day, which doesn't make sense. The lawn doesn't grow that fucking fast.
That's a lot of mowing.
Well, I know what it is. They're related to the lady you call Bish, and she has now told them to come. Yeah, they own a lawnmower company, and she says, before you guys come over, we'll put a little bit extra in the company funds, and then you have to mow my lawn every day, even if it doesn't need mowing, because this guy called me a Bish.
She's like, I want it to look like a putting green. Okay.
That's it.
She's like, definitely come between 10 and 12 any day you want.
Yes. Maybe the guy is coming between 10 and 12 and they have a relationship. All right. Hey.
Well, there's like 7 gardeners.
Hey!
Action part.
It's 2020, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, but damn, like the manager's office apartment is smaller than mine. Like it's like the size of a bathroom. So like,
well, look, it's inventive. Maybe she's a gymnast. Maybe she's a gymnast.
I don't know why, but hearing 2020 sounds weird. I haven't heard like 2020. It's the right year.
No matter how the matches turn out tonight, Ben Bateman is definitely going to face Dan Morrill next week.
Yeah.
And no matter who wins, Dan will still have at least twice as many titles. Can we get Obama and Elmo debating who will win in the matches tonight?
There's no matches tonight. There are no matches tonight.
You just
Today's
panic
Friday.
a little, Kristian. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, wow, did I get replaced already? Yeah. All right, so should we even bother talking about Batman?
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, we didn't.
So Obama and Elmo debating about this week. Let's do this week's matches then, since there's no match.
We'll do it tonight. We'll do it tonight. We have 10 minutes to talk about the remaining news stories. So,
all right, well, I do want to talk about this.
Batman.
Oh, do you
want to talk about Batman anymore? Right.
No, we can.
I mean, look, what else are you gonna do? No, it's the fact that the guy, when your star gets it, what do you? It looks like it doesn't. I don't know. Who knows how serious it is? But The Rock just. I know you guys talked about it yesterday. I think you did. The Rock did his announcement, and then I like the idea that he waited, made sure everybody in his family was okay, and then made the announcement, let them know we're coming out of it. But I think that it was more or less to let people know that, look, man, anybody and everybody is and can get this thing. So so be safe. Anyway, so Ben, what did you want to talk about next?
Mike Flanagan was talking about Stephen King adaptations, and no one can deny with Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep, he is absolutely killing it. And he wanted to go after the big dog, The Dark Tower. Quote, "The Dark Tower is forever going to be a story I wish I could tell. That would be the holy grail. I mean, talk about an adaptation challenge. So many very talented people have poured so much time and heart and soul and blood and sweat and tears trying to crack that," end quote. So I would absolutely die for this. I would prefer a series over a movie, but I know it's hard to, because it's 7 books. It spans over like years and dimensions and different planes and stuff. It would be really hard to adapt, and you would kind of need like at least 3 guaranteed seasons to at least get some kind of story. But I would love for Mike Flanagan to tackle this.
I agree with you. I think that this is something I would much rather see. Because even that the movie itself is like an hour and a half, and you can tell there's so much missing. And it's like it's not that it was a really bad movie. It's just you watch the movie, you're like, well, it's not really a movie. It's like an hour and a half of just a couple ideas that are thrown together where you're like, well, this could actually probably be a really great story, and I bet you it's a phenomenal series. But you can't tell from the movie because it's just like it seemed like an hour and a half trailer.
Yeah, it was nothing.
So. No, it's nothing. It just kind of. It wasn't like, oh, that was terrible. It's just like it just comes and goes. It's not. It wasn't like Artemis Fowl, or Artemis Fowl was like an hour and a half and it felt 12 hours. You know, like this movie was an hour and a half and it feels like 30 minutes. You're like, oh, that's it. It's over. So I would love to see a series in general, and if you put Flanagan in there with it, I agree with you, Ben. I think this could be interesting, but it's a matter of very similar to another story we have with Amazon canceling Javier Bardem's show about Cortez.
Yeah.
It's because of production.
Oh, you assume I meant Schmodown matches? Clearly I was talking about NBA and NHL marches. Yes, totally. Hee. Kinda glad I said that anyway, just to give Kristian that extra panic shot of energy.
It works. And don't worry, the lawnmower did it. The lawnmower gave me the extra energy.
Bro, and it's not even a lawnmower, that's a fucking leaf blower. What doesn't make sense is, I want you to know, look at my apartment. This is as much grass as is this apartment. Like, you take my square footage. That's it. I don't know why the fuck there are so many.
What she needs to do, what they need to do is stick the lawnmower in there and get your laundry done in the back.
I mean,
that's what they need to do.
It's just not put.
I know that's the problem I have.
Maybe it's strong. Maybe it's strong enough that it can just it shoots it into the drawers and stuff.
Mary Poppins.
I would love to. We'd love to see that. Would we love to see that, Chuck? We'd love to see that.
What else you got there, Ben?
That was amazing. Javier Bardem, you brought it up about his Cortez Amazon series. It was going to be a 4-part miniseries, which sounded amazing. But, quote, due to the production constraints created by COVID-19, Amazon Studios and Amblin Partners are unable to move forward with production on our Cortez y Moctezuma series. In the current climate, there is unfortunately no way to remount the production in the near future to achieve the scale and scope that was intended and that series deserves. We have nothing but admiration for Javier, Tenoch, Yashira, Gail, Diego, Steve, and the entire cast and crew, and hope we can work together again in the future.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just that you're not gonna try to cut it down, and try to rearrange it. Where let's hope that it fits what we can make it happen, and we'll build sets, because then it's going to look like something from like the 1950s with unless they're able to use the type of technology that the Mandalorian used, right? I think that's kind of groundbreaking stuff to what they did to be able to, but they'd have to be able to shoot everything, layer everything in, and it would be expensive to do for that particular series. So it makes sense to either postpone it. I mean, I don't know about scrapping it entirely. I think it sounds pretty interesting to do, but it's the same thing for Dark Tower. It's like, how do you put all of that into it when you don't know? You're limited on what you can shoot. That's why I'm so interested to see what the Lord of the Rings. They're still going forward with shooting that.
There's such little news on that, but there hasn't been any halting or pausing news on it. And I'm wondering, like, with those LED screens, like you were talking about, like, can you not get them wet, or like, are you at the Universal? What is it? The Universal lot where you had that quarter-mile tank of water or whatever that they shot Jaws on. Like, but how much is that to like keep renting that, or like it sounds like they're going like full realistic on sales, like on the water type stuff. Yep. So it's probably a very expensive shoot already on top of all the delays.
I mean, just from my experience with this project I'm doing, I mean the big studios like protocols are pretty crazy. I mean, it's a good thing. Yeah. But like I have to get a test like every 2 to 3 days until I'm done with production. Like they have turned all entrances and exits into one ways because they don't want people crossing past. Even what they've been like going to the costume fitting, like it was between each one. I would go in, put on the outfit, come out. They would take photos. They wouldn't even really. They only had one.
$20.
Thank you.
This is for RB3. Beat Ella Haile Rockets in 6. Looking forward to seeing the new lineup. Thank you for keeping our spirits lifted.
Thank you, Tim. RB3 didn't like the first part, but the second part he liked. And as you saw with Tim Sim, like again, guys, and I want to see, and I would love once we announce the slate, if you're able to, I want to see any questions that you have, whether it's because we'll turn the Schmobot off during the announcement, and then we're going to turn the Schmobot on after the announcement because we want to hear all your questions because this is the end of the week, and we'd love for you guys, if you're able to put in as many Schmobots as possible and ask us whatever you want about the shows, and if you're excited about it, and if you can super chat about it and you want to talk about it, let us know because we're gonna get some reactions out of you really soon. Here in about 4 minutes we're gonna announce the new slate, so just be prepared because I want to get reactions. I want to see a comment in the even if you can't comment on Streamlabs or super chat, comment in the chat, and we're gonna get some questions. So all right, let's get anything else that we should talk about here, Ben, before we move on?
Winston mentioned it, and if he wants to talk about it, Lee, because I didn't get a chance to watch the video about it, but the Super Mario Brothers, Nintendo announced a whole new slate of games, a whole new remaster of games for Switch. So, Winston, do you want to talk about it?
Go ahead, Winston.
It looks amazing. I mean, they have all sorts of stuff. They're remastering all the 3D games. So there's one for Switch of like Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, which looks awesome. They're bringing back Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. They're doing a Fortnite-type version of the OG Super Mario Brothers where it's 35 players playing Super Mario at the same time. And, like, when you kill a Goomba, the Goomba just appears in somebody else's thing. Like how Dr. Mario or Tetris used to do when you would complete a row. The shit would just shift over to somebody else. So it's like a who can stay alive the longest. But the one that gets me the most, and talk about how your poorness can come into play here, is the Super Mario, the Mario Kart VR or the Mario Kart augmented reality game where you set up a track in your house with a remote control car and it has a camera on it. And then you actually, like, playing on the Switch, you drive the fucking car around your, like, imaginary track that you made up, which is dope and was dope in the commercial. But I literally was like, what if I don't have a living room? Where the fuck I'm going to put this?
A bunch of loop-de-loops around your ceiling and shit.
Well, sweet. I mean, so I think a lot of people were excited about that. I saw that news and I said, especially a lot of the old school gamers. And Mario is one of those ones where it is like the ultimate. It's like the first game, first viral game. I would say that for me when I remember when I was a kid. That was
Johnny donated $20. It's kind of fine. Falling so slow, like fragile tiny shells, drifting in the foam. Little soldier boy, come marching home, brave soldier boy, comes marching home.
I see. Soldier Boy will not. Listen. Soldier Boy will not be on the network. So I don't know if I can.
Thank you, RB3.
I don't know if I can have him answer that question, but it is very nice that you asked about Soldier Boy being on the network. But that is not. He is not going to be on the network. But we're going to start a little early here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to play this video and let you know about our upcoming slate. So we're all going to be muted here for a second, and RB3 will show this video, and I want to see some reactions, some comments, and get those questions into streamlabs.com/theschmodown about them in general. Remember, if it's a Schmobot, we can replay it later, but we're shutting the Schmobot off, And everybody's going to mute themselves. If you can do that, please, everybody. And then RB3, let me know when you're ready to play.
All right, and here we go.
Hello, everybody. Hey, that was weird. I threw from me to me. I figured this would be a lot easier to do it this way. So we have a really big and fun announcement for all of the Schmodown Entertainment Network. As I've been telling you over the last couple days, if you've been listening, that we are going to launch some new shows. And I figured what we were going to do here today was basically give you guys the entire slate. So if you're brand new to the channel or you're listening for the first time on audio podcasts, then you're going to know exactly what we're going to be giving you guys and how you will find stuff coming up. So, and I feel like giving a little bit of some fun with this, right? So ladies and gentlemen, here is the new lineup for SEN Schmodown Entertainment Network. Let's get started. As you know, SEN Live, it's our morning show. Kookiness, movie news, jokes, impressions, and you guys get to get involved every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. BST on Schmodown Entertainment Network. All right, so that's that one, you know. How about this one? Coming up on Mondays, it's the Inner Geekdom Show with Winston Marshall. That's right. The rookie sensation manager, an overall great dude in general. Winston Marshall will be hosting this show. And what is this show? Well, he's going to be taking a question from our Inner Geekdom division. And this could be Star Wars. This could be Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, whatever it is. And he and a guest are going to explore where that came from. Example, the two robot arms in Iron Man. Could be a deep dive into the world of Iron Man and the MCU. How did Tony Stark, how did Robert Downey Jr. get cast? And a whole big conversation that he'll have about a particular subject with a guest. And that's going to be every Monday, 4 p.m. And the audience will be getting pretty involved in the second half of that show. So that one's going to be a fun one. All the guests and all the different big IPs they can cover. I'm pretty excited about that one. So then what's next? That's only a Monday. That's what you get on Monday. Tuesday, Ben Bateman. He's going to be hosting Backstage. We had announced that John Roque is going to be leaving the show. We'll miss John terribly. And John's going to be around, obviously. He'll be doing a lot of stuff on the SEN. But the question is, who will be replacing John and joining Ben as the new co-host on Tuesday? I'm going to give you that answer right now. The Crusher, Rachel Cushing, one of the greatest players in movie trivia Schmodown history, will be joining Ben Bateman on the show every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. PST, and that's for all the backstage, what it's like to be a player, a manager. The fans get a little curtain view of everything going on in the world of the Schmodown. Wednesday's a big one. But these shows already aren't big ones. This is massive. I'm so excited to have this guy as an official part of the Schmodown Entertainment Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Dangerous Dan Merle is going to have his own show here on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. PST, All My Movies, with one of the greatest players in Schmodown history. And what is the show? Well, Dan Merle has many Blu-rays. Many Blu-rays. He's got DVDs. He's got so much. And what he's going to be doing every week is going to be exploring those. How did he get them? Where was he when he got them? What did he think of the movie? How much did the movie make? What is significant about the movie? What was it rated? All that stuff. And then he's going to have very special guests. I got one for you right now. How about Alex Winter joining for his Bill and Ted's episode, and Dee Wallace joining for his E.T. episode. So that's on Wednesday. So what's on Thursday? Another Schmodown, two favorites. Jen Sturger, Brad Gilmore on Coming Up Next. If you liked Cold Pizza on ESPN, if you like some of those shows that just have some fun, goof around, but they still cover all the hot topics in the world of the movie Trivia Schmodown, well, Jen Sturger and Brad Gilmore will be coming to you every Thursday at 12:30 to be talking about all those hot topics, everything going on in the world of the Schmodown, special guests, fun games with the fans. Hey, you want to cut a promo against the Outlaw? Well, you might be able to do it on this show. And then, Friday, I am proud and excited that I get to, well, I like that show already. I told you about that show. Well, we already know about the movie Trivia Schmodown, everybody. The movie Trivia Schmodown is every Thursday and Friday, 2 p.m. That'll be right after Jen and Brad do their show. You're going to have Thursday and Friday, 2 p.m. PST, the movie Trivia Schmodown, the ultimate sport for the movie trivia fanatic or the trivia fanatic. Or even if you don't know, you're going to watch the best in the world compete every Thursday and Friday, 2 p.m. PST. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to say, I teased it a couple months ago, but now it's official. I'm bringing back one-on-one with me, Kristian Harloff, Thursdays. 4 p.m. Thursdays, 4 p.m. PST. And my first guest coming up next Thursday, this Thursday, Xolo Meneduena Miguel from Cobra Kai, the hit Netflix series, will be my very first guest on the show. And that's going to debut next Thursday, 4 p.m. PST. One-on-one will be back weekly. Excited to do that. And Saturday, spend your mornings with Brad Gilmore and Frank Janish on the Schmodown Rundown. You want to get a point of view from these two characters and Frankie Numbers, the best stat man in the business? Well, that's your morning show to wrap up everything that happened the week that was in the movie Trivia Schmodown. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our slate. I hope you're excited about it. I hope you want to see once again. Let's just go through it. That's SEN Live on Monday. Also on Monday, the Inner Geekdom Show with Winston Marshall. That will be on Mondays at 4 p.m. Schmodown Backstage with Rachel Cushing and Ben Bateman. Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. All My Movies with Dangerous Dan Merle. Wednesdays, 4 o'clock. Coming up next, Thursdays, 12:30. Jen Sturger, Brad Gilmore. The movie Trivia Schmodown every Thursday and Friday. Of course, early to patrons. The Thursday match, that is, but that's 2 p.m. PST on the movie Trivia Schmodown. One-on-one with Kristian Harloff, Thursdays, 4 p.m. And the Schmodown Rundown on 10 a.m. PST. So, all these shows are available on podcast form. They will be available. They have their own feeds and all that stuff, too. We want you guys to support. So as soon as they're all up, please subscribe to all the podcast feeds and let it be known that the network is coming into full swing. So we hope you're excited. We're excited. Now back to me. All right, so how about that? That's not bad, right? Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty excited about that. You guys seem to be excited about it.
Yeah.
It's
sorry, I was still watching the video and that was a little ahead of it. I was like, we're back.
Good. So we have yesterday, and I'll say, because Rachel had reached out to me and she said, do you want me to come on to talk about it? And I said, well, we're going to show this video. And then I realized last night, I'm like, shoot, I should have her on, and now I can't get in touch with her. So I wanted to try again. Dan is going to call in a moment, and he's gonna come in. But I mean, I'm so excited about all of these shows. I mean, I can't even tell you how excited I am about all these shows, and we've been working on them for a while. So the Schmobot is on now. We're gonna put the Schmobot on. So any questions you have about the show, details about the show, how the shows came to be, any of that stuff, let's talk about it all the way through. So make sure. And I'm gonna start with the host of the Inner Geekdom Show, Winston Marshall. It's funny because Winston and I were talking about this show for months now. We've been talking about it for months. And the idea of it was, I thought, we have so many matches in Inner Geekdom, and we didn't want to make it a Schmodown show, but we wanted to take it like stuff where people who maybe
donated $20.
Yeah.
Great shows coming. The hype is real.
Thank you.
But one question: where's Brett and Kate's play date?
So Brett and Kate's Playdate
That's a
again
great
because
name
of
for your
SE.
show. That's your show name.
It is, yeah, yeah, and because of the fact that it is the premier show on SEN Patreon right now, and we want to make sure that that's where it is. That's where you can get it. So when you get SEN, we're gonna probably develop it a little bit more on SEN and have them do more. So it's gonna be. It looks like right now it's gonna be an exclusive show for SEN. So if you want it, that's where you're gonna find Playdate, and we're gonna do more with it. Right now they're just kind of doing some fun stuff as we evolve into the actual full show itself. But it's looking more and more like that show will be an exclusive SEN Patreon show. So
Jensen
speaking.
donated $20.
Aw,
Holy
Tim.
fucking shit.
I didn't know Tim Sin swore. That was
Yeah, no, good. I'm glad that you liked it. So the Inner Geekdom show, the idea was we have so many matches in Inner Geekdom. There's so many matches and so many questions, hundreds and hundreds of questions, that we thought, what if we took one of the questions, like example, with like Mike Kalinowski when he played against Mark Knopic, and it was the question about the two. And this very well might be an episode too. It might be mapping out an episode here for you. But the robot arms, and then Winston would have a guest on, and I would assume, and we can say who your first guest will probably be, right?
I've already. I mean, we haven't officially because I have to go through you.
Cheryl
But I've
underscore
talked
Dick
to
underscore
who we
Pants
talked about
donated
who's about it.
$20. Hey gang, happy Friday everyone! What an amazing lineup! Can't wait for Winston and Don's shows and one-on-one coming back. I'll be tuning in. Broke.
Oh, I missed that last part of it, but we'll get to it. But so I would assume I would assume that your first guest would be the Champ.
Yes.
Yes. So Chandru would be on. Let's say it's Chandru. Say this is the first episode, and it's Chandru and Winston, and they're talking about these robot arms. But the question is, where did they originate from? Did they ever pop up in comics? How did they make their way to the actual movie itself? And then that can evolve into the beginnings of Tony Stark in comics, but then how did he get into the movies? How did they decide Iron Man was going to be the movie they were going to go with? And the whole movie the whole show would basically be about Iron Man for that first hour, and it's going to be in podcast form and obviously on YouTube here. But then the next hour from the second hour of the show will be Winston and his guest talking to you guys and maybe learning facts from you guys and maybe involving you guys through the chat and doing a video. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we can do. So Winston, what was it because when I brought it to you, we just knew right away this was a good fit. Why did you think, I'm going to do this show. This is going to be awesome.
Money.
Perfect.
Honestly, if there was anything that
You get money for your show?
If people like it and they donate,
if they like it. If they don't like it, I'm fine.
If they don't like it,
No,
Jonathan Caro donated $20. Bad day of dancing in September. Bad day never was a cloudy day. It's like an early Christmas present to all Schmodown fans, competitors, future competitors, and fans. Great lineup.
Jonathan?
Yeah, no, it's super dope, yo. And it was the minute you mentioned, you were like, "Oh, I want to do an Inner Geekdom show." I was like, "Yeah, okay." Like just because it's not
You
that
guy
I
donated $20. Will all the new shows be 2 hours?
not all of them. The Inner Geekdom show will be. Backstage is about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Dan's show will be an hour. The coming up next will be a little over an hour, and one-on-one will be about an hour. So and obviously this show is 2 hours. So they vary in time. And I will say, and when we get to it, the coming up next is going to be at a different time. We're going to move it to probably be 1:30 to 3, and then the Schmodown match will probably air at 3 that day. But we're working on that. And as far as actual launch dates, I'm going to say they're coming up very soon. I would say in the next. We're aiming to launch some of the new ones within the next 2 to 3 weeks, but they are TBD, but they're going to be coming up very soon. We're ready production-wise, yeah.
So Brad and Jen is on Friday, and you're...
Brad and Jen is on Thursday.
Thursday, and you're on Thursday as well, too, at 4.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So there'd be some movement either with one-on-one or the times could shift, but the days will be the same, but the times could shift. And once we have the full lockdown of times and everything, we're gonna put out a full schedule for everybody so they can know, and it'll be updated here also. So
but to answer your question, I mean that has been like my life is inner geekdom stuff. I mean, there are certain holes that I have, which was seen if you want to go watch my one inner geekdom match against Emily Rose Jacobson. Quite embarrassing, but I was also training for the Black History Month Schmodown at the time. But like I never really got into Star Trek personally, but that's why I like this format of me having a guest on, because then, like, for example, that's Chandru loves Star Trek. So like that I'm potentially thinking about that as the first episode. Having someone like Rachel Cushing on, who is all things Lord of the Rings. Yes, I've seen the trilogy now, but she knows it up, down, sideways, backwards, and forwards. This is the stuff I like to talk about. Like my entire thing right here is video games and Star Wars and Batman and Spider-Man. Like, I mean, that's just who I am. And so when you pitched it at all, I was like, I love the Schmodown, but the inner geekdom has a special place in my heart, and so this sounds like the perfect show for me to get involved more with. So I'm very, very stoked about it.
Yeah. And we're excited to have you, obviously, from everything you've done so far with swag and what people have really taken to you. But I also think because you're one of those guys that is constantly and always wanting to learn more about things. And I think that whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, The Rocketeer, Back to the Future, like there's so many episodes for this show.
_Lee donated $20. Congrats, Winston. I pictured Winston yelling at his girl, "Where is my super suit?" Also sounds like an awesome lineup. Happy to see Rachel on the network.
Yeah.
Crush it, everyone.
I'm super excited to have her too, and I'm going to talk about it in just a moment. We do have a special guest, but what I'm going to tell you also is that the artist who did both of Winston, the Inner Geekdom Show, and all my movies with Dan Murrell, is an artist by the name of Bob Raymond, who also did the art for Brett and Kate.
More Dan Murrell? Holy shit, more Dan Murrell and on SEN. Kristian, I am a happy man. Perhaps a little creepily happy. I'll tone it down. But Dan boy for life.
Thank you.
Winston, your show sounds cool too. $20. Hey Winston, throw this old dog a bone. Please do a show on a Batman 66 question. And invite Bibbs and Whitney, who are reviewing all the Batman 66 episodes and movie on their podcast.
I guess I gotta start taking notes and shit. Hold on.
Look, that's what I'm. But that's the point. There is going to be and you can do and that's what I love about this show. This show is infinite, because you can say one of those things of like, well, after you cover Iron Man, you can't cover it again. Hell, you can't. You can talk about the villains of Iron Man. You could talk about the different which the best Iron Man out of the three. What are the best moments of Iron Man? If you want to do that, then you could do Star Trek, Star Wars.
But I can't wait to dive into Iron Man's alcoholism. Like, that's actually it's argued that is his. Yeah, they argue that is like his greatest, his actual greatest battle that he ever fought, because there's like a whole thing.
But all that though, that's what's so beautiful about it, is that you can go into so many different, like the character traits, and then the courage of Robert Downey Jr. for taking that role, knowing that was going to be that was going to be a big part of it, especially in number 2. So anyway, there's so much that's going to be, and we're just talking about one episode here. There's so many different episodes, so many different guests. Schmodown competitors will be in there. It'll also be a new way to introduce people if they see the IP of, let's say it's Star Wars, and they're talking about the greatest Sith Lords in history, and new people come in, but it opens up with a Star Wars question about those particular Sith Lords. Then new audience is going to be introduced to the Inner Geekdom. So we're excited about it. We're excited about Winston Marshall, obviously, and we'll be able to talk to Winston a little bit more, but we have a very special guest. Like we mentioned, Sean
Sullivan donated $20. Hey Winston, you'll have to get PJ Campbell on the show for The Rocketeer. He can explain Kristian's jetpack reference earlier. Really excited for all these new shows.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. And as I said, I'm so excited about all of the shows. But as we were making the moves as far as like how we were going to turn this, because we had different ideas. I had different ideas of what we were going to do initially, of how we were going to structure out the network. and I had one particular idea that didn't go through all the way, and then there was another one, and I sat back and I said, well, what can we do here? And this guy called me up and he's like, I really would like to do a weekly show, but I'd love to do this. I've had this idea for a bit, and I really want to push a podcast because I wanted to have a podcast for so long, and and we talked about it, and I'll let him tell the story. He's the 4-time movie trivia schmodown current champion of the world, former teams champion. He is Dangerous Dan Murrell. He is joining us here today. Dan, what's up, man? Hey, you're muted, my man. You're muted. Almost there.
Then you gave this guy a podcast?
Still muted. What's going on? Can you unmute there,
RB3 have to do?
Oh.
He's not muted, Dan. I don't think your headphone mic is working.
This is actually the show. The show is that you have to try to guess what
yeah.
saying.
First Blu-ray Dan's doing is a silent film.
This is the artist. The artist. They turn in black and white, and it's the artist. He's got to do it.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Wait, someone make text pop up on the screen that says like, "Hi guys, I'm Dan Murrell. Glad to be here."
Audio settings.
And,
check audio settings.
Yeah, check your mic settings. Make sure your mic is set to the one you want. Sorry.
The good news. The good news is that Dan's show is going to be pre-taped.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh.
Okay, hold up.
I don't know what he's saying.
It's not my fault.
Joshua Dimash donated $20.
It's not him. It's not him.
Hey everyone, great lineup. As a Showdown and Dan Murrell Patreon subscriber, I'm particularly excited for all my movies. Can you provide any more detail?
Dan, I might have to
Dan,
take you
can you
out
provide more
of
detail,
here.
please?
Donated $50 through Super Chat.
Oh!
The
Thank
fact
you.
that you got both Rachel and Dan on the lineup is amazing.
Yeah, that was the goal. The goal was to bring we wanted to and as Dan's we're trying to get Dan the mic going here, but he's gonna sign out and come back in. RB3, can you help him out on the side there?
Yeah.
All right, Dan. RB3 is gonna try to help him out. And so, look, one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure, because this is called the Schmodown Entertainment Network, and the idea is to make sure that everybody who's coming in and learning about the new shows, everything, no matter what we're doing, that you also relate it to the movie Trivia Schmodown. And what a better way to do it than to bring into two legends of the Schmodown with both Dan Murrell and Rachel Cushing. Rachel Cushing came on to be, I will tell you, fairly late in the game, because John Roca, who John is, and I've said it many times over, and I will continue to say it. Without John Roca, the Schmodown doesn't get to the level that it's at. There's just no way, because he understood it right away. He's a legend, and he's pretty much like, where I always looked at him as like kind of what Chuck Liddell did for the UFC, where he's just and Dana White said that whatever Chuck Liddell wants to do in the UFC, no matter what, he's always got a place, and that's how I feel about John Roca. So John joined backstage after it was already developed and put into play, and he joined the show, and he was kind of taking over for Ben at times when he was co-hosting it, and Ben would be out of town, and then they both, it was Ben's show, so, and they were both on the show together, and John was doing a lot of stuff on his network, and he had,
Justin donated $20. Hey Haring watched Class Action Park last night on HBO Max. Holy fucking shit, Kristian was right, that was insane and scary stuff. It's a miracle more people did not die there. Also very excited for the new shows and Rachel joining backstage. Oh, hi, Brett.
So RB3, can you send Dan another link, because he said it won't let him back in because he was removed.
And Kristian, why did you just text me, send Dan your mic and camera that I gave you? That's not cool.
So anyway, so when it comes out to the what the hell was I talking about? When it comes out to John Roca, he was he said, I'm gonna probably be leaving the show, and I want to do some more stuff, and he and I were talking about him doing something on the network. It just didn't come. We weren't able to get it done.
L_Santoyo donated $20. Brett, I need help. Here's the scene. You're lying on your back with your head on the edge of the bed. The booty's 2 feet from your head. Should you take the time to find a condom? B, you walk right over and you pound MC. Tell her that you want her love.
Okay. So thank you for that. So, but anyway, so it came out. I talked to John.
Answer the question.
Yeah, answer the question, Brett.
Wait a second. Just wait. When I talked to John the other day, and I asked him, I said, well, we're gonna have to find somebody, and he's like, no, I totally understand. I said, and I want to be able to announce it when we announce the slate, and he's like, absolutely. So Ben and I were going over it, and we had these names as we're going through and looking at the names and saying, yeah, they would be great, they'd be great. And then we both stopped and we go, what about Rachel? Rachel is like, because the backstage host has to know about the game, the inner workings of the game, the understanding of it, the history of the game, big matches, big moments, what it's like to be in those things, and someone who wasn't on the Finstock Exchange. And we both looked and we said, it's got to be Cushing. It's got to be Rachel. And I said, the only thing is I just don't know, because Rachel is really busy with editing and she's doing other stuff. And you know, there's a shot that she might, A, not want to do it, and B, not be available to. I couldn't be happier when I called her up and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing it? She's like, absolutely. I'd love to. And she's like, it's just a matter of like scheduling wise, if I'd be able to, because, you know, if she's editing something, that we'd have a co-host kind of fill in for her when she wasn't in. And I was like, if that's the only thing that's holding us up, done. Absolutely, 100%. And she was excited. We are excited to have Rachel Cushing on the network and back. And I'm sure the fans are, because my favorite thing about it was I posted who the new co-host, I said there's going to be a new co-host and we're going to announce who it was. And the fans were all guessing, great guesses, but nobody was guessing Rachel because everyone thought she's too busy. Everybody thought that she wouldn't be able to do it, or that she maybe wasn't interested in doing it. Nobody was guessing Rachel. I was like, that's great. And so the obviously the chat blew up when we had announced her. So we're very excited to have Rachel back in the Schmo. She's never left the Schmodown family, but to have her back in the flow of it, it's going to be good. And she'll be able to give Ben some pushback when he gets into his thing. You know, so Goddard, you know, you're on that show weekly. How exciting is it to have Cushing on the show?
That's awesome. Like that was like easily the biggest explosion from the chat, so that was really cool. But now Finstock is going to convince Rachel to come back, and he's going to draft her in the first round.
Gotta get that Finstock exchange hour back, man, by any means necessary.
No, it's going to be nice not having like the longest soliloquy of an intro every time Gucci's on the show. Oh, the winningest manager, 3-time manager of the year, genius extraordinaire.
$20. The answer is D, all of the above.
Mm-hmm. I was going to wait until they were done to say that.
That's good. Well, yeah, because, you know, by the way, Jeff Snyder is the best guest in the history
John
of back.
Keeley donated $20. Will Winston show for a few minutes be discussing the week's top geek movie news? I have had a hero's size gap in my life since the January 2020 Collider massacre.
I don't think we're going to be covering the weekly geek news. No, it's not that type of show. This is more about the inner geekdom kind of deep dive into you know, if there's some big news that kind of pops up that is regarding the actual the topic itself. Like if they're covering Batman, there's Batman news. Sure, they'll go into it, but it's not.
Count Bob donated $20. What a lineup! The best. Winston so good. Intergeekdom. I know all the geek movies. Believe me. Dan Morrill is great. So great. I'm better. Schmodown. What is that? Movie trivia. I'm the best at trivia. The best. Believe me. I was in Home Alone too.
Why is the Schmobot also really good at doing a Trump impression?
If they were putting in the Trump bot, is putting in that punctuation perfectly.
So good, yeah. But anyway, so I said Snyder. Snyder said he was talking about shoot, I can't remember who he was talking. Yeah, it was Roka. Roka was going into something. He called it a 30-second wind-up.
$20. Now you can't have so many shows. You can't do that because it's unfair to people who want to watch other things. You need to be considerate for those who want to do other things in their life.
That's true. That's true. I got to tell you, the fact that you're putting on these shows, all these shows like that, it's not a lot. It's not very considerate. A lot of people have other things to do. What are you doing? You're going to make people just sit home? You're not going to let them do their lawnmower? And possibly get run over by it? I mean, come on. Anyway, so that's backstage is going to be a blast with Rachel and Ben.
What were you saying about Snyder?
Snyder said Roka was doing this question. It was taking him a while to get there, and Snyder called it a 30-second wind-up to throw the pitch. It was so good. I laughed. He's amazing on that show. So that's just Monday and Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday, if we can get Dan back, hoping to get Dan back. Something was going on, and RB3 is working on trying to get him back. The way that the show came about was that Dan and I had talked about doing a lot of different things with SEN. When he had announced that he was leaving Screen Junkies at one point, we talked about him doing something on the show, and that particular thing didn't come to be. So we kept talking, and Dan and I have a great relationship. We're besides working relationship, we're buddies, and we kept talking about things, about trying to do some stuff together. And he called me and he was like, "Look, I got this idea, this thing that I wanted to do, but I really want to push it as a podcast." And I was like, "Well, do you want to do a video and podcast?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "If we can get guests." And I was like, "Let me take care of the guests. Let me take care of this stuff too. And what's the idea?" And as Bibiani was very excited about, it's the idea to really explore and show the love for physical media. And Dan has tons and tons of DVDs and Blu-rays and just an extensive movie collection, as you know, and as you would assume that Dangerous Dan Murrell would, right? And so his idea was great. It was the idea of let's take a movie. I own a lot of movies. There are movies that I love. I have some movies that I think stink, but yet I own them. And the question is, why do I own this particular movie? How did I get this movie? Where was I the first time I saw this movie? What was it about this movie? What are some facts about this movie? How much did this movie make when it came out? What was the reception when it came out? Did it have a better reception at first? Did it then it got worse over time, or the opposite? Those types of things, right? And he'll really deep dive into that particular movie. It'll be a great podcast for those people who are looking for that type of thing inside of the movie itself. And then we want to get a guest. And we want to get a guest that this could be someone who was craft services on the movie up until maybe even actually the star itself. And perfect example of that is right now, and things can always change. Right now we have the two guests booked. We have Dee Wallace from E.T., who played the mom. She's going to be a guest for the E.T. episode, and then we confirmed yesterday that Alex Winter from Bill and Ted is going to be on his Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure. Now that's kind of an example of where Dan will definitely talk about Face the Music inside of that episode with Alex for sure. So that's what we're very excited about, and when Dan comes back, we'll talk, because there's going to be so many movies that he's going to cover. That show can go on forever. And once again, guys, like I said, it's all based on support from you all too, because the good news, like the Inner Geekdom show, is going to be live, so you guys can chime in. You guys are able to schmobot in in the second hour, not the first hour. You'll be able to super chat and all that. Again, second hour, not the first. That'll be just the pure discussion of it. As where SEN, it's Wild Wild West. It's the whole show. It's not going to be like that for IG, and it won't be like that and Dan's show will be more so if you're watching and you want to, when we put like the premiere on and you want to support the show via super chats and things of that nature. And then we're gonna launch exclusive merchandise from the shows themselves during the show. So for example, if we finally get that swag shirt on, it'll probably debut during the Inner Geekdom. That will support both Winston Marshall, and it will support the network. So that's how. So if you're questioning like how do we support the shows, that's how you do it. Plus, we give something to you. So we're going to debut a shirt for Dan Murrell also, and there he is. We got him this time. Come on, yes, no.
I hope so.
Yay! We got you.
Oh man, we did it wrong.
I'm going to get Harrison 40 here. I always check my microphone before I come in.
I don't know what happened. So Dan, dude, look, so I gave kind of the brief introduction of how this kind of came to be. You and I were talking at one point after you left Screen Junkies. You all, to rewind, you and I have been talking forever that eventually we wanted to do something together whenever that opportunity allowed us to do so. We had a conversation. This is Kate. I didn't know if I told you this, but this is really funny. Dan and I had a conversation about potentially doing something together. I think it was in the end of, it may have been January, and we're sitting here talking, and it was just he and I in the office, and as we're talking, standing up, the fart ninja's on the door, right? So we kept standing, and every time we stand, I go. So at one point, Dan's in the middle of this whole thing talking to me about the show, and he looks over, he goes, "Oh, fart ninja." It was so good.
But the fart. Is the fart ninja? Does it need new batteries yet?
Yeah, it's dying. It's dying. But Dan,
not
anyway.
a very good ninja. Not good ninja at all.
Not anymore. But Dan, so and then we came to a point where the thing we were talking about initially didn't work. But then you gave me a call and you said, "Look, I've had this idea for a while for this podcast. It's the thing that I wanted to do, and it's about physical media. It's about all these movies I have, and I gave I think a pretty good pitch to the audience of what it is. But can you give a little bit more of a kind of the where it came from?"
Sure. I mean, yeah, I've been wanting to do this for literally years. And one of the big parts of it is that I've never done a podcast. I don't know how to do a podcast. And so when we were talking about things to do, like you said, we've been talking about one thing and it just didn't seem right. And so this is something that you, obviously you and the entire team have a lot of experience with. And yeah, it kind of, my inspiration for it is I used to watch the Colbert Report. And I love the Better Know a District where he would have that big board and, he'd just have one little district out of like 500. And so I thought, like, would it be cool to kind of go through my movies and then just looking, I look at my shelf sometimes and it's like, oh, that one I remember I got as a gift. That one I bought out as a $1 blue, like, why do I own that movie? I don't even like that movie. So I thought it would be fun to kind of, it's really an avenue to talk about movies. And then I'm a big physical media guy, and so I think it's interesting to see, like, why do I have this? Do I have it because I love it? Do I have it because it was cheap? Do I have it because I'm a completist? There's a lot of movies I have because of that reason. But it really is just a way to talk about, it's going to be a mix of, stuff about the movies and talking about them. And you mentioned the interviews that we're doing, which I'm super excited about. And then kind of like what they mean to me, what they mean to our guests. And I think it's just a really fun and different way to cover the way, what movies mean to me individually and then to just everyone. So it's about the impact of these movies, both culturally and on myself and to our guests. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so too. And I think that one of the things that I was really intrigued by with the idea is not only to have you on it, to kind of deep dive into physical media, because I'm also a big physical media guy, and Bibiani was losing his mind in the chat, by the way, and wanted to thank you very much so for doing that show. He texted me, he's like, thank you so much for doing a physical media show. And we're happy to do it. But the other thing was that when you said, look, I want to try to get guests on this show, and that's always one of my favorite things, and I'll talk about my show in a little bit with one-on-one, but what I liked what you said was that, look, would it be great to get the stars of these movies to talk about it? Sure, but I don't need those stars. I just want to get people who had experience on this movie one way or another, and even if it's not necessarily their involvement in it, why do they love it? Like, what happened if we let like Duncan Jones talking about The Godfather or something? That kind of idea to me, I was like, well, I really like that idea a lot. And we found so far, I mean, like I said, people can always cancel day of beforehand, but it looked like we're getting responses really fast with Dee Wallace and Alex Winter. There was a particular movie I won't mention, but there was a movie that we're having trouble finding guests for, but that was because the movie itself isn't that great.
I so wish, and we'll talk about it when the episode comes out.
Yeah.
Because you told me you're like be unrealistic, but rank who you want.
Yes.
I so wish the number one person for that movie had said yes, because that would be the best conversation ever. But that person, I don't think, has even ever seen the movie, so it makes sense that they would want to talk about it.
It's true, and I think
Crispin Glover, and the movie is Willard.
Willard,
yes.
That'd be great. I'm looking forward to that show because people have been asking, is it going to also be available on Apple Podcasts? Yes, everywhere podcasts are found. It's going to be. So the Inner Geekdom show will have its own podcast feed. Dan's show will certainly have its own podcast feed, and then. The Jen and Brad show coming up next will be on the Schmodown feed, and then one-on-one will have a separate feed. So, and Backstage obviously can be found on the Schmodown feed. So all of these shows will be podcast. That was the main thing and that was the other thing, like I was telling you guys, when you want to know how to support certain shows, when you're supporting Dan's show, we're debuting a shirt on that show that's going to be maybe on episode 1, and I wish I would have actually sent that to RB3 today so we could show it, but it is a great design that Brian Ward made, and it says GOAT, and the O is the championship belt. It is phenomenal, and that will, the same way with Winston, that will support Dan, that will support the network, that will support the show in general. And for Dan's show in particular, the big support for that show would be subscribing to and signing up to Apple Podcasts like immediately, and leaving a rate and review and firing Dan up in the charts in like right off the bat and getting it within the top 10 of TV and film. That's how you're going to support that show, and we'll talk about that more as the show debuts. We do have an official date, but I just can't say it yet because there's a couple things that need to happen. Again, thanking Bob Raymond for the art. Dan had the idea of this desk kind of the shelf that was falling on him, and I told Bob, who's done the art for a lot of our stuff just in the fan group, and he did this great design of both Winston and Dan, and it was amazing. It was so good. But Dan, you know, when you see that art, is that do you feel like that when you're organizing your chart, your collection?
Yeah, you know, I reorganize it every couple of years because I'm a nerd, and it does feel like that. It definitely does feel like that. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know do we want to tease what episode 1 is going to be, or should we hold it back and make people wait?
About the first one, episode 1? Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, it's a happy coincidence because this is a movie that most people love, but it turns out that the very first Blu-ray that I ever got was The Dark Knight. So that's what episode 1 is going to be. It's going to be The Dark Knight, and it's going to be an example of what a guest-free episode is going to be. So I've already delved deep, and Mara's helping me a lot with just finding not just information and recollection about the movie, but, you know, going back and trying to find news reports and box office and just a really deep dive. The fact that it was like one of the early viral marketing movies, and just really diving deep into the history of that film. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that people really dig it for the first episode.
Dan, can I suggest that you also throw in the to show the juxtaposition, the Batman Begins TV trailer that came out with what was it? I want to say it was like Nickelback or something had a song for it and shit. Just be like, this is what it started off as, trash. Now look where we got to.
It's tough because eventually, if the show goes well, you know, I mean, I did the math. This would literally be, if I stopped collecting today, it would be a 10-year show. But but we're gonna have to do Batman Begins, so that's something that I'm struggling with, is because I want to contextualize it, but it's like I also don't want to blow like the good stuff for the Batman Begins episode, but that could be in like 5 years, so maybe people will forget about it by then, because I like that.
Yeah, and what we've also said is, and Dan, I don't know why, but for some reason you're turned sideways.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
You're good now.
All right. Did you try to turn it off and turn it back on?
Yeah, and I know I see you wearing your glasses. So it's not that you're not wearing your glasses. You know, look, the other thing that we said is that we're also going to be listening to the audience. And I think that's one of the fun things that you'll be able to do on the YouTube side of it, is say, hey, guys, look, we have a couple episodes already mapped out, but here's a few choices of the episodes that I want to do. And what do you think? You know, and I think
that Ben Ryan donated $20. Hi, guys. Congrats on lineup. Forgive me, I'm a little confused. Are these shows audio only? Or are they audio and video? I'm so excited for the new Backstage and Down show and Inner Geekdom with Winston. Awesome news, congrats.
Thank you. Both. They are both video and audio. It was a conversation that Dan and I had. We weren't sure at first. We thought maybe we'd do audio, but then we thought as long as we can do it a certain way with both the video and the audio, and like I had mentioned, and I will continue to mention, that Dan's show the most is the way you support him the most is through the podcast feed and going over there, listening to it. It's going to be a great show to listen to. It's going to be a great show to listen to and dive deep, especially with the guests that we're already getting. So,
Corey Rodriguez donated $100. Awesome lineup.
Oh.
Winston is going to kill it. Rachel will definitely bring a unique perspective on everything Schmodown. Brad and Jen have an awesome dynamic together. Dan is one of the greats for movie analysis. Congrats, everyone, and thank you, Kristian.
Thank you, and thank you for that wonderfully generous donation. Thank you, and like I said, the donations are so, I mean, crucial. I will tell you guys this. The reason, and I'm so excited that these announcements are going over as well as they are, and you all should be proud, because it is because of you guys the reason that we're able to do this in general. Had you not supported since November 1st, had you not believed in us since the beginning, had you not, for those people, and I'm not just talking about the patrons for Schmodown and SEN and everybody who's been involved one way or another, if you've clicked like on these episodes, if you have left a comment before, if you have shown support before, you have added to it. When you click on it and you watch the shows and you show support, you've added to it, and we told you we were going to give you a network, and we did. It takes time. We didn't want to rush it, and I'm pretty excited with our slate. You know, Dan, with the other shows that we have here too, we just announced that Rachel Cushing is going to be joining Backstage. I mean, how do you feel about that particular call? Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it's like the speed round because I keep dropping out. So I'm going to try to get everything out. I think that's incredible. I think Rachel is a fantastic choice, and I think she's going to bring an amazing perspective to the show. And I will leave because thank you for bearing with me. This has been listen.
That's all right.
We can tell you soon. Everything will be clear soon, but I'm still in Arkansas, so I'm doing the best. I just did a week of shows from the closet in my bedroom.
I saw Mike Kalinowski giving you grief about the belt, and you said, "Give me some slack, cut me some slack."
He's like, "Where's my belt? Where's my belt?" It's like I'm in a different state. And number two, if I recall correctly, it was a wonderful manager who went and got that belt so quickly for Chandru.
That's right, it was, and that same wonderful manager, offered to do the same for Mike Kalinowski, who hasn't called.
Yes. No one called me asking for the belt or when they could come get it. If they would say, "When can I come pick up the belt?" I'd say, "I have it ready for you." Nobody called me.
Look, Dan, can I ask, what's the likelihood of you staying on the Fence Stock Exchange next season?
Nice question.
Wow.
Damn. Be great throwing the heat.
Wow, that's a great question. There's a lot of season left to be played. That's the answer. That's the real answer.
Everybody goes into Mark Wahlberg when they get defensive. He's like, "Oh, look, that's a great season. It's a great question."
There's a lot of season left to be played. I don't know. It depends how the game's going to shake out. What the team's going to look like. I don't know.
There you go again. Making me want to watch this channel from beyond the grave. The Schmodown can now truly be the great shining internet city on a hill. It's time for YouTube to remember it is fortunate to have Senator, not the other way around.
No, that's true. Thank you so much. Dan, all right, listen, we're going to let you go. The show is All My Movies. It will be on Wednesdays. Very, very soon, we will have a release date for you guys very soon. Dangerous Dan Merle, the Movie Trivia Schmodown champion of the world. Dan, thank you for joining us.
I'm pushing my luck at this point, so I'm going to duck out.
And we'll see you next Friday against Bateman. We'll see you next Friday.
Yes, the podcast will be much more consistent than this appearance. Thank you.
Dangerous Dan Merle. So come on. How are you not excited for both Dan Merle, Rachel Cushing, Winston Marshall doing shows? And then, like I said, that's just on Wednesday. And then Thursday, so Brad Gilmore and Jen Sturger have been doing these preview shows, which you guys have been missing out on because not enough people have been watching. And we did it on Twitch, and then we aired it on YouTube. And I'm watching it, and even though they were like I said, I cannot believe that the Schmodown audience and SEN aren't tuning into this as much, and not only because of the great content that it's in there, but it's the chemistry between Jen and Brad. And I was like, they've got to do something. And people were screaming like boats and schmoes, and I get it. It's funny because of Step Brothers, and it just has nothing to do with what the show is, and it's like it would be confusing to people. And then what we were talking about with Jen and Brad was taking a show like Cold Pizza from ESPN and doing like a Sports Nation type show and sitting down, and we've been talking about this for a while, and they would be going over the topics and things like, for example, what RB3 said with Dan is, and I think there are a lot of there's a great show right now that the Gucci versus doing the 5-pointer.
That's like pardon the interruption.
Yeah, they have like the Pardon Interruption type show, which is a great show. It's a great idea that they were doing, and we had this kind of Sports Nation where it's a little. They're very like they're on topic to the topics of the week, and they have like the whole lineup, and they go over it. Jen and Brad's show is going to be doing similar stuff as far as the topics themselves, but they're going to be having games and goofing around. Like Jen came up with a great segment.
Nugent donated $300.
Holy crap, Anthony!
So excited to hear about the new Star Wars show. Oh, no show. Okay. It's been a rough day for me as I had to bury my dog earlier today. These new announcements brought a much-needed brief smile to my face. Congratulations to all involved.
Anthony, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
That was incredible.
Also, do you? Oh,
yes, thank you.
So sorry about your dog. Also, does anybody else wonder if Anthony understands the conversion between USD and AUD?
I don't know. Well, either way, it was very, very nice of you to do. Thank you for the support. I'm glad.
What, Anthony, I'll do a Star Wars show. Okay, it's the least I can do.
Anthony, as far as I'll say with that question, it's 2020 is not over yet. That's all I'll say.
Ace 4 Star Wars. Ace 4 Star Wars.
Ace is doing a show. From what. But anyway, look. Let's move on over. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Sturger and Brad. They have this show coming up next, and was very, like I was mentioning with Five Pointer, what I think they do so brilliantly. And if you're not watching that show on Gucciverse, you should. It's great. And Jen had this idea of having the fans like kind of going to promo school and cutting promos. Because, okay, we have a big match with John Roca and Adam Collins this week. And what if you were facing the Outlaw? What would your promo be? And then taking some, it was almost like the old kind of like email segments that they would do on ESPN and playing fun games, but still covering everything, having the interviews with some of the Schmoedown competitors. It's going to be a lot of fun. Those two work together very, very well. And one of the main reasons why I also wanted to get this show going is that Jen Sturger has become a beacon of the and a staple of the movie trivia Schmoedown, like behind the scenes, and we haven't been able to use her for the matches at all because you only get 10 people in these rooms. It's harder to do to have her just kind of pop in and interview at the end. It's not the same. I said, but we're not using her at all. So when we had these preview specials and we're watching them, we got to get Jen on this network, and then her and Brad work together so well, and then Jen's like all in on and no pun intended with AEW, but with the Schmoedown, you know. So it worked out perfectly. They wanted to do it. We got it going. We just got to maneuver the time. So we're excited about it. Now, as far as one-on-one goes, one-on-one was something that I started back on Collider. And again, props to Mark Fernandez. I called Mark and I said, hey, I want to bring back the one-on-one with Kristian Harloff. You know, I started it on your network. Are you cool? Do you want me to change the name? He's like, nah, it's cool. Go ahead and take it. I'm totally cool with it. He's like, go and do your thing. And you know, and that was it. That was the conversation. I mean, we talked about other stuff afterwards, but as far as that went, he's like, nah, it's cool. Go ahead and do it, man. It's all you. So I started that show on Collider back about 2 years ago or so. And it was very successful. We had some great long range interviews and stuff that I wanted to do. And
Frank donated $20. This is my first Schmobot donation. I'm looking forward to Dan's new show as I'm a huge cinephile. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but I heard that Coppola is putting out a new cut of The Godfather Part 3. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Thanks.
I'm excited about it. I did hear about it, but I'll try to hit on that before we wrap up everything with the new slate. But I will. Thank you for your first donations. Very nice of you, and I'm glad. I'm pretty happy. So, one-on-one, I got a chance to talk to so many great people, from Richard Dreyfuss, Kay Cannon, Leah Thompson, Clancy Brown, so many different people I had a chance to talk to when I was doing that show. And I brought back like a little pilot version of it when I brought it back on this channel when I interviewed Josh Trank for a little bit. And then when we were doing this new slate, I was like, well, what if I bring it back full time? So I reached out to Xolo Meneduena, who is the star of
Easily offended. Wahlberg donated $20. You can't have great shows, Kristian. How is anyone else supposed to get subs now? You can't use talented people. What if that makes someone else feel less talented? One-on-one? What if someone else wanted an interview? It's 2020, man. Get with the times.
Why you call it one-on-one? Why you call it something else? You can't call it Kristian Harloff Show. Too many other shows called Kristian Harloff Show, or just show. You can't use show. What are you doing, man?
You already have less talented people doing a show today at 1:30. It's an SEN exclusive.
That's absolutely right. But anyway, Xolo Meneduena, who is Miguel from Cobra Kai, the #1 show in the world right now, Netflix. It's crushing. Finally, people have you started it yet, Brett? Idiot.
I've been working at night,
and
also passing out watching To Tell the Truth, which
you
guys are caught up on.
Best fucking game show.
Oh man, I can't wait for these new shows. I've been a huge fan of all of you guys for many years, and it inspired me to start up my own podcast during quarantine with my friends. Keep up the great work, and looking forward to the bright future.
Wow, man.
400.
And, yo, he trilled in a motherfucker. The hell yeah.
Dude,
yo.
thank you so much. I mean, again, this is what I'm talking about. Support. I cannot thank you for that kind of support. This is the only reason we do this stuff, because you guys are crazy like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm blown away by that. Thank you so much for everybody here today, from a donation like that, from people who put in $1. Thank you so much for the support. This is why we're going to be. I can't wait to launch these shows. You guys are going to love them. You're going to love them. But anyway, so when I talked about the Cobra Kai and Miguel and having Sholo on, I already recorded it. We taped it. We talked for about an hour. This kid is awesome. He's 19 years old.
Aisha Kenya donated $20. Can we get Elmo versus Wahlberg arguing over the importance of saving physical media?
Dear Ben, we'll do them at the end.
Yeah, I got it.
So yeah, he's great, dude. He's 19 years old. He's just so level-headed. We talked about Cobra Kai. We talked about how the industry has changed for people of color, but still have a lot of work to go in general. He talked about his experience and the way that he thinks about it. But he talked about trying to managing college with now being on this super hit show. We talked about some of the movies that he liked, what he wants to do. He wants to be a screenwriter. There's so much cool stuff we talked about. That was just in the course of an hour, and that's going to debut next Thursday. And it's not only going to be just people from movies and TV. It's going to be some. I want to get Mark Ellis on. I haven't talked to Mark. I want to get Brett on. I want to have Kate, RB3.
You do?
Winston, of course. So there's going to be a lot of these. It's going to be a lot of. It's going to be exciting. What it will mean is that John Roca will probably be hosting definitely 2 days, maybe 3 days a week on this show. We don't know yet, but I want to make sure that because John's been crushing it on this show. So I think that it's just a matter of a balance of how many guests I get and what I can do because I like to prep for it. So, and then Saturday, obviously, is the Schmodown Rundown with Brad and Frank, which is including SEN, is the longest running show on SEN, is the Schmodown Rundown. It's been on for like 4 years now, and it's my go-to show. And you guys, if you're not listening to that show on Apple Podcasts or on this network, you really should. It's on Sundays on YouTube. I should say it's Saturdays on podcasts, but it's a great show with Frank and Brad. So that's everything, and that's everything that we're working on, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. And by the way, RB3 will be working on a lot of these shows. Goddard will be working on these shows, and Brett and Kate. Like I said, you can find Brett and Kate's Playdate on the SEN Patreon. You go to patreon.com/SEN Live, and you go over there and you subscribe. At the $10 level, you're going to get that exclusive show of Brett and Kate, and they are on today at 1:30 with special guest closet crawling Dickie is what they call him now.
Good old Dickie Murphy.
Dickie Murphy.
Crawley Murphy.
That's it. So, that's it, everybody. That's the show. And I hope that you're excited about it because we are too. And
the Yamagata donated $20. Been down with this crew since 2014. You guys deserve the success. Can't wait to watch. Believe me. Oh no. Wait. What is happening? Trump here. Brett and show today. So bad. Believe me. Worst show ever, believe me. I can do that show. Make a good show.
I'm convinced that's Roca. Sitting behind his computer. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for that. Let's get into a lot of questions here. I'm sure from streamlabs.com/Shmodown. A lot of questions that we have.
Easily offended Wahlberg donated $20. Brett, you can't call yourself less talented. What if you offend yourself or hurt your own self-esteem? Come on, man. Cobra Kai is the #1 show in the world. How do you think that makes other shows feel? I would watch one that might offend others.
That's true. You're right. I don't understand. I mean, you can say that they're equally. It's one of the greatest shows. You don't have to say the greatest shows. I mean, now all the other shows are going to feel depressed, and they're going to sit down. They're not. People don't want shows to be depressed, man. People want happy shows. And how do you know that they don't want depressed shows? Maybe they do want depressed shows. I shouldn't even say anything right now. I should just be quiet. Oh, maybe people don't want you to be quiet. Maybe people want you to speak up. You don't speak up, then you're not going to be able to say anything. But if you speak up too loud, then people are going to go, why are you being so loud? You're trying to sleep. You don't want people not to sleep. Well, maybe people can't sleep. Maybe people aren't great sleepers.
Happy anniversary to Brett yesterday. 16 years with his wife.
Wow.
In 16 years? Holy shitballs. That's nuts.
Dude.
Yeah.
How the fuck you going to be married to your wife half of my life? That's
I know.
crazy. like my guy. I just got my driver's license and you getting married and shit.
In celebration of the new show lineup, can we get the count from Sesame Street? Lady Gaga just do it. Irish Sheila LaBeouf, Mr. T. Don King, and Nicolas Cage from Face Off cutting a set promo.
Wait,
All right, listen. So what I will tell you when it comes to
What?
I tell you when it's going to come to impressions. All right, it's like there's only so many we can get to in the next half an hour. So like, be careful with asking for the impressions now with a half an hour left, because I can't promise we're going to get to all of them because we have all these questions. If we don't get to some of these impressions, we'll do them on Monday, because we'll get to them. I don't even know who's going to be able to do it on Monday. We're going to find out. I got to ask the crew who wants to work on Monday, because I'm not going to make them, obviously. So we will get to them. The impressions, though, are going to be tough. Let's get to these questions first, Ben.
Yeah.
But I'll be starting a Cameo account to do some of these on the side.
I'm surprised you haven't.
Why didn't you?
James Wheeler donated $100.
James.
Good morning, everyone. You guys are so great. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, James. Jeez.
Brett, I'm surprised you haven't. That's so much money you could be making right now. Amy Orney, with all the speculation on Black Panther 2, do you think they will just make a new character that has been king in the 5-year gap between Endgame and Infinity War?
Well, let's let the Inner Geekdom host take that.
My money is gonna be on Shuri. My idea for it, honestly, because the way that it worked in the comics is Shuri took over the mantle for a while she thought T'Challa was dead, and then found out T'Challa was alive and was more than happy to hand the throne back to her brother. I think the best way to acknowledge Chadwick and give and honor him, but to also progress things forward, I don't think that you say that you never recast Black Panther, but I think you do this for Black Panther 2. T'Challa got killed, Shuri takes over. The movie is about Shuri being Black Panther and like her and like the Dora Milaje handling business. I think that raises up young black girls so they have that moment, just like a lot of young black boys did with T'Challa. And then if you want to recast him, because that movie would then come 5 or 6 years later, essentially, then you can do that in a way that you've still honored Chadwick, you've given Shuri her time to shine, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be the most appropriate way to go about it personally.
And you are talking about Shuri, the character, not Shuri, your dog, correct?
Yeah, yes. I did name my dog
very
after
clear.
the character because she is very smart. But yes.
Thank you for the question. All right.
156 Impulse. You guys are amazing. Kristian, thank you for everything you do. By the way, my mom is home from the hospital. That's amazing news.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you very much.
It does not always go that way.
I'm glad. Very
Ryan
happy.
White. I love Video Drew, and he wrote it all backwards, just like Video Drew does.
Oh.
Video Drew does.
We do too.
Sir Lord Attenborough. Hey all, happy Friday. Excited for all the new shows and faces that will join the SEN verse. I'm with you, Ben, and that Dark Tower should be a TV show because of the scale and the story. Do you want to see Idris Elba back as the gunslinger? Someone else? I'd love to see Idris Elba back.
He was good. I don't think that the acting,
the cast wasn't the problem.
Nothing wrong with the cast at all. It was just and it wasn't even that it was such a bad movie. It was just you can tell it was too short and it was too choppy, and they didn't know what the hell to do with it. It's a really weird thing, because it's not a bad movie. It's just not a movie.
Idris Elba's perfect. Fact.
He just has to, like, the fact that he didn't wear a cowboy hat was the only thing I didn't like about his performance. Like, he's the gunslinger. That's part of Roland's thing. He's got to wear a hat. Sorry. Governor of OKC, Winston, how dare you, sir? Here in Oklahoma City, we are a thriving metropolis with a new Wendy's downtown, square patties all day, and, well, you're right. There's nothing besides the thunder and tornadoes that put the movie Twister to shame.
That's a joke from Game Time. I went on an epic 5 to 10 minute rant about Oklahoma City being nothing but the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, yeah.
Next one.
Sir Loud Attenborough. Kristian, I meant to ask you a while ago, back in your stand-up days, what was your favorite room to work at the Comedy Store? Did you approach your sets differently depending on what room you were performing in that night?
Well, second part of that, yes, you have to. But that's not just Comedy Store. That's any room. Yeah, and I think Kate and Brett will also agree with that. Maybe they won't. And Winston as well. So anytime you're in a room, you got to look at what the room is. You got to look at the audience, what kind of, and if you are not going up first or second, which hopefully you're not. If you are, you're the one that's got to kind of set the mood and the tone, right? And you've got to test the audience out. But if you're not and you're going up later on, then you read the room and you say, okay, well, they're responding to this type of stuff for sure. They're this type of energy. I might have to go this way. It seems like crowd work is working. You start to look at it and you just analyze what's happening in the room. And as far as the Comedy Store went, there was 3 rooms. the belly room was always, to me, was the easiest room and the most was always, anytime there were sets up there to do, it was always the easiest room to do. It's smaller, it's kind of more kind of impactful. The main room was an easier room to do because of how many people there were. And I say this for me because my style, I had a lot of energy, so it was easy for me to kind of maneuver inside of that room. But my favorite room was the OR, which is the original room, because it was the most challenging room, and it was the room where it was like a circus every night. You were either you could either be on fire, or you could have one of the story I've told in this show many times about the one where the guy said, Winston, I tell you this story when I got stoned. It was the only time I've ever gotten stoned and done comedy. I've never done it ever again because of this night. Rogan had just gone up, and he went up for a while, right? And he crushed. And then the room was packed, and I had to go, and I went up afterwards, and I get up there and I'm stoned, and I remember they get up. This guy goes up to go to the bathroom. He comes back and he says to his wife, they're in the front, like if you've been to the OR, all these people are sitting right in the front, and he looks at his wife. He goes, "How's he?" Super loud. Wife goes, "Eh." Right. So that was the one thing, and I was like, and normally I'm like, I'd be able to, like on this show, I could like go back, but my brain was like, was not thinking that way. So then at one point, the guy, black dude, and he looks up to me and he goes, "Tell a black joke, dog. Tell a black joke." And I look down, I go, "No."
I have heard that. I didn't know you were stoned.
No, and then he goes, "Why not?" And I go, "Because I don't want to." Right, and then the lady in the back goes, "Leave him alone." Right, and I was it was the worst set of my life. And I walked out, and Bobby Lee goes, "Yeah, that was terrible, man. What happened?" And I go, "Dude, I was laughing with it, Rick Ingram, and it was the whole thing." But I still know that I had to, and I didn't look at the OR and go, "I'm never doing that room ever again." It was no. I got to challenge that room. That room challenges you to go up at 2. Like it would stay up at 2 in the morning with 6 people in it. Kate, did you ever do the OR?
Nope.
You never did the
OR.
OR.
No, just the belly room.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw Rogan do a 3-hour set before you went up once.
That was when we drove. That was when we drove to. That was when we drove to San Francisco, right? Because I had a spot at, I think it was like 9 o'clock, right? Yeah. And then I think he did like an hour and a half or whatever it was, and then I didn't get up until 11:30. I think I had a pretty good set from what I remember. I had 11:30 set, or maybe even close to 12, and we drove from Los Angeles to San Francisco at that time, and that was a thing. Yeah, I was there when Ari slapped Bobby. I was there during all that stuff. Like it was crazy. All right, let's get to some more questions. Sorry.
Sloppy shit lips. Hey crew, just heard Batman got COVID. This thing has really come full circle for bats.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, what?
Because the COVID supposedly started from bats, man. So
but, I mean, what was this thing? Man, that's not even
RP3.
Shaquille Oatmeal. That's a good one. I like that one quite a bit.
I like that.
All of these shows are massive. Gotta say, the most exciting part for me is getting the Crusher on backstage.
Yeah.
He and Ben will have great chemistry.
It really will. Having Rachel back is going to be great, and I just love all the everybody that we get a chance to work with again. Having Winston on this show in general has been fun, but being able to have him kind of do his own thing and add a bit of the comedy plus the inner geekdom knowledge and showing the camaraderie that he has with Schmoedown players in general is going to be fun. Then you add Rachel Cushing. Having Dan Merle, Jen Sturger, Brad Gilmore again. There's going to be so much, and there's still more to come. But this, like everything else, it just depends on what you guys think and what you guys. If you like the shows, if you support the shows, if we're able to do more shows, or we keep it, we're going to listen to you guys. That's what we do. All right, what's next?
D-Train, one of the things I miss about Collide Live is the phone calls from fans, especially when Saul used to call in. Is there any way you guys can allow phone calls from fans in the future?
The future, yes. I would say it's most likely. So the bottom line is that we've been looking for a studio. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on air. Before all this went down, I was looking for studios with Skybound for just Schmoedown and SEN. It was going to be just for Schmodown and just for SEN. And we had a couple different options, a couple different places that we looked at, and we thought it was good, but then COVID hit, we had to push it back. So it's a matter of when we're able to do that. So when to answer your question, when we have a full-on SEN studio that we're able to do that again, then yes, I would like to incorporate phone calls again.
Cool.
Can we make sure the Fart Ninja comes?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Dumbledore's left nut. A little late to the class action park party, but every summer in Oregon, one of the ski resorts would put up the alpine slides when the snow melted. I remember going with my family once. I remember vividly when my grandma decided to go down. It says 1 of 2, but I don't see. Oh, she held on to the brake the whole time, only going about 5 miles an hour. She was so slow, there was a line of about 10 riders behind her until one kid bombed around the corner and crashed into the 10th guy.
Yeah, I watched that documentary last night.
Wild, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, RB3, we are going to have another guest that's going to be joining us in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Let's do some of these real quick. Devontae Swing. Winston, I saw you on the Gucciverse last Friday talking about Chadwick Boseman. Thank you so much. You really helped me out. Thank you, Christian, for creating a wonderful community. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes.
So glad you all are growing and pushing on through these weird times. You all are greatest and so excited for the new shows. Much love and respect. Schmoes forever.
Tri-Senator Taurus Tops.
That's old school. That's an old school fan. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And again, just to not to sound like a broken record here, but I thank you so much for everybody here today who donated so generously and the support. It's great. It's great for I mean, it shows you guys really wanted these shows, and I had an instinct that you guys were going to love these announcements, but it's nice to see it. So thank you. All right, next one, Ben.
Thank you for the double middle finger yesterday, Ben. It made my day. You're welcome. Blue Popcorn. Christian, since you limited for in-person one-on-ones, would you ever do one with your eldest daughter, similar to Philip DeFranco interviewing his son? I think it'd be funny, but I know you want to keep them away from the internet, which is understandable.
Yeah, I think I think it would be funny, and it would be great. The internet's it's a nice place when it's like this, but it's also a very ugly place, and I don't want my kids kind of subjected to that stuff. And that nothing against anybody who does, but I just.
Can I ask you, Christian, because this is something I struggle with too. If you had sons, would it be any different? Same, right?
No.
Okay. So I don't know if I'm like going too far with it, but okay.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. It's not. Look, but that's not for everybody. The other people, and they know that like there's. I know myself of how protective I get over my friends on when certain things happen. You know, it's like I would not be able to handle. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
I mean, it's a similar type situation with like. You just obviously take it to the next level. I mean, y'all, it's different with you actually having kids, but it's even the decision about if you're going to personally potentially take those slings and arrows of being on the internet. So, you know, it's just...
Yeah. All right.
Or is it that you were afraid she'd hijack the interview and you wouldn't get to talk at all?
That's probably true. Also, that's probably true. Also,
chat out. Is that the real thing?
She would take my job. Is what she would do. Yeah, it's true. I mean, she steals the show wherever she goes. What's up? All right. What's next?
Pork Up. Denis Villeneuve directed Coruscant Story. Christopher Nolan directed World Between Worlds Story. James Gunn directed Bad Batch Story. Jordan Peele directed Sith Order Story. Brett, you are definitely a stag and not a cock.
Thank you.
I don't know
who called you?
What's a stag?
Tell you that I don't know what any of that meant.
I think the stag is the person who's doing the. To the
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Can I just be left out of that equation?
Yo, I started developing the fucking RB3 head. Yo. I'm realizing RB3, you do that because you can't do the full black through. You be like, yo,
What is
I think this.
Oh, I broke my headphones.
Oh, man, that was a nice one, man. Damn.
Very sad.
My bad, man.
It's the price of fame.
My
The new
bad.
show.
RB3 said my bad.
Laughing too hard. That's what happens.
Dagan, happy Friday, crew. Still waiting on the politics hour with right wing Elmo, but I think Fox News picked that one up. For real though, so excited for all the new shows and all the expansion of SEN. Love you all and happy to continue to support in this great channel.
Thank you so much. Very, very happy.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
gonna interject something very quickly. We're teaching Neil how to write like during his kindergarten class, and he's having a really tough time with the letters. So I've sort of adapted Republican Elmo, not Republican, but right wing Elmo, and but it's violent baby. So I just do a baby voice, but it's really violent. So like if he's making an H, I'm like, you drop it to the ground, and you drop the other one to the ground, and then you stab him, and it's working like a charm.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, I can't wait to bring that back to the classroom. It's gonna be great. You forgot to stab it.
Stab it.
These kids are gonna come back from quarantine so messed up when parents got to figure out how to teach them stuff.
Yeah. His H looks good, y'all.
D-Train, what's up, Dan Merle? Saw your review of Tenet. Never knew you could talk backwards, but you seemed mixed on it. So what score would you give it out of a 10 for the movie?
I'll
wait to see
answer
the
for
movie
Dan.
tomorrow. It's been 6 months, and I'm excited as hell.
And his mic don't work. His mic don't.
Just broke his headphones again.
Sutherland donated $20.
Thank
By
you.
the way, saw Class Action Park. CFS. Wow.
DFS can't fucking swim.
Yeah.
We're on the wristbands.
So good. All right.
Pork Up. I should have looked to see what stag actually meant before sending that because I was way off. I'm not looking it up. Over on Super Chat, Deontay Wimbish. By the way, that wasn't Soldier Boy. It's Iroh's song from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, that is.
Red Wolf. Yo, where the Crim Cram at?
That's good. All right, keep going.
Jamon John, what's the best version of the Batcave? The one from the Nolan verse animated series, Arkham games, the one in the comics?
I'll actually take 89's Batman, even though I say it's a bit dated of a movie. I like the Batcave the best.
I'll say Batman Forever. All that neon really worked for me.
What was the question?
Best Batcave.
Yes, best Batcave.
Ooh, Batman Forever.
Ooh.
Batman the animated series, actually.
Oh, well. You
Okay.
were
Well, there you go.
We have a special guest in the waiting room right now.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're gonna again. If we don't get any questions here, the rest of the questions, then we will get to them. But I'm sure you're going to be happy about this that we can't get to the questions for this particular guest. I mentioned all of the wonderful talent that we have, and I was super thrilled to have this particular talent rejoin the network, ladies and gentlemen. She is the former Movie Trivia Schmodown Inner Geekdom and the former two-time Movie Trivia Schmodown Teams Champion, the legend, and the new host of Schmodown Backstage with Ben Bateman. She is the crusher, Rachel Cushing. Rachel, how you doing?
Hi, you guys hear me? No.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So look, Rach, I mentioned that this kind of came really fast of how this all kind of came to be, and when Ben and I were going through the list of people, and then we both stopped and said, "Well, Rachel Cushing really is the only answer here because of your experience in the Schmodown, because of your knowledge of the game, because your knowledge of the history of the game." But we both didn't know, like, A, if you would be if you'd be too busy, and B, if you would want to. And I was thrilled when I called you, and it wasn't much of a. It's like, yeah, if I'm available, which it seems I can be, I'm in. So why was it backstage that you said, yeah, I definitely I can and want to do this?
It actually goes back to something that your brother said. Oh God, like over a year ago now, on a comment that I had called a match with Ellis, and he said it felt like, one of those sportscasters that had transitioned from a player to a commentator, and that, as somebody who had been in the thick of it, I was good at that kind of analysis. And I loved that because it gave me a way to still be involved without competing. And I know that, I think it's fairly well known that you asked me to be a manager this year, but I didn't think that was a great fit. And after having seen what that's meant and the factions and what Kate brings and Winston and Sam and everybody, that was the right call. I don't think that that would have been suited for that. So, but this feels right. This feels like a great place for me to still be a part of a thing that I really love without having to compete or be a manager. And I was thrilled when you asked, because one of the very few positives about the pandemic is that working from home actually opens me up to being more flexible with doing other things. I can work my job on my own hours, and then I can take 2 hours on a Tuesday afternoon to be able to do something like backstage. Whereas if I was going into an office, that'd be a lot harder. So for right now, this feels like a great fit, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, and we are too. And I think one of the things that is really exciting about it is what people were saying was that this has been the Finstock Exchange show for the majority of the season. That will change. They were curious that whoever, because one of the things that Rocha is good at is that he's able to push back sometimes with him and Bateman and guests. And we said, well, Rachel Cushing will certainly be able to do that also. The other thing was, can the new host, how well do they know the game? Have they ever been in the thick of it? Have they ever been that championship level? Well, yeah, Rachel Cushing has done that quite a few times. So it really was the perfect fit. But talk to me about working with Bateman and how you feel your guys' chemistry will be in this show.
It'll be really good, because I think similar to Rocha, I'm a little more old school, and Ben is definitely sort of the front man for the new wave of the type of player and everything else. So I like that dynamic. I'm definitely somebody that will stand up to any kind of favoritism or, pushing certain sides of things. Like I will push back hard on that.
I finally have an ally. I'm not by myself on this show.
And I am happy to fill that role and to, counter certain things, because I think that debate is one of the cornerstones of the Schmodown amongst the fans and amongst the players, and we're all here to make this show the best it can be and the game the best it can be. So I'm definitely here to make sure that Ben isn't the only person that has to say that.
Yeah, and then lastly, before we let you go though, too, is, John Rocha had mentioned, I mean, obviously we both know, I mean, when you were a rookie in the league, Rocha had already been a veteran at that point, so it's like he's been around, he's done so much for the game, like excuse me. When you take over for a character like John Rocha, what do you hope to to prove in the Cushing era of backstage? Because you're doing it once again, by the way. You're the first woman to ever win the team's title, and now you will be the first woman host of backstage, and I think just first competitor in general to have that kind of championship level. I know that Rocha obviously has had I think that's why you and John, I think, have always been so you've never played each other, but you've always had that kind of respect for each other. So what is it like kind of coming in there for after John steps away?
Well, stepping into Rocha's shoes, I don't think anybody can do that completely, and I certainly don't want to diminish what he's done, and I can't be the outlaw, and I'm not going to try, but I can represent a lot of the things that I know that he represents in terms of movie trivia knowledge and the heart of the game, and getting back up when you've been knocked down, because nobody's done it more than he has and proven everybody wrong every time. And I want to honor definitely what he's done, but bring something a little bit different. I think that, there'll be times where I'm just going to have to, cross my arms and wait for the shouting and yelling and ridiculousness to stop, and then bring order to the backstage, because sometimes there's not a lot of order on that show. So I'm happy to lend myself to that side.
Especially when Jeff Snyder is on. So that's going to be great. Was he this past week though? He was so good. He was so fun. I cannot wait to see. Did you hear on that show, by the way, he talked about talking you out of retirement to play with him on the team?
He is not the first person to say that, and I'm hardly definitely going to be the last person to say it.
That's the thing. You're going to get a lot more pitches when you're on that show than you probably ever before.
$25.
Oh, PC.
Congrats, guys, on the new shows. I waited so long for one-on-one to come back, but not going to lie. Crusher on backstage is the best. She's one bad mother. Shut your mouth.
It is, and we got her, ladies and gentlemen. So Rachel the Crusher Cushing, officially the new movie trivia schmodown backstage host with Ben Bateman, and that will be 2 weeks from Tuesday. John Roca will be closing out and show John Roca a lot of love. Please go on over and let him know. Thank him for all the work that he did on backstage and helping get to that show, because like Rachel said, had he not kind of formed that dynamic in general and that representing kind of the classic portion of the game, I don't know if we get Rachel in order to do it, because I think we need that side of it, and I think Rachel is the perfect person to carry on that legacy. So Rachel the Crusher Cushing, thank you for joining us as always, and I thank you because I'm excited. I listen to that show every week anyway, and I'm going to be listening to it even more so now that you're involved.
Rachel, sorry, I want to say something to Rachel real quick. I don't know if you can feel, but that comment we just got from PC is like resounding throughout the whole community. Everybody is thrilled that you have been announced for this. So
yeah, like
the
chat exploded when your picture came up on screen.
To the point where like at first they were like, Winston got a show, hooray! And I was like, oh wow! And then they were like, Rachel got a show, Rachel Cushing. Oh. What?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Rachel
Cushing. Rachel Cushing. What?
Well, Rachel, I had said that. I actually said that in the yesterday in the Facebook group. I posted kind of guessing who they thought it would be, and I think that everybody thought you were so far removed from the schmodown, from whether you were busy or just maybe not wanting to do it, that nobody was guessing you, and I was shocked that no one was guessing you, because I was like, they're gonna lose their minds when it's announced, and they did. So so there we go. So, all right, Rachel Cushing, the new backstage host. Rachel, we'll see you very soon. All right, that's awesome. So excited to have her back. It's going to be great. So Rachel's back.
So Rachel starts on Tuesday then.
2 weeks from Tuesday.
2 weeks from Tuesday. Got it.
John's gonna. John wants to say goodbye to the audience and have 2 more shows. And I thought we both agreed that 2 more weeks would be great, and it gives Rachel enough time to kind of prep and get ready to come on the show. So whether or not she's going to be a guest either this week or next week, that I'll let the boys figure that out. But we're pumped to have her. So, all right, we're going to get to a couple more questions. And then, like I said, because of the guests, and I'm sure you guys can understand, because of the guests and everything, too, we couldn't get to everything. So we'll keep a lockdown on those impressions that we're supposed to do for next week. And we'll also answer a couple more questions here. Ben, what do we got?
Well, Porkhub said in the chat that the one with Lady Gaga and everything was just to see the looks on our faces of everyone being confused. So
thank you.
He was just being supportive. So thank you, Porkhub, for that one. Last super chat right here, Deontay Wimbish. What are the names will been mispronounced? He can't say Gandalf and Idris apparently. Well, whatever.
Idris.
Yeah, but see, that's the point. I would have given that to him. Idris. His name's not Idris. Come on. All right, what's next?
Honestly, we got to do that impression, the Elmo versus Mark Wahlberg.
Is that it? No more. You did all super chat stuff?
All super chats. I mean, and it's a good problem to have. And thank you guys so much. That literally all our stream.
All right, so that's it. Let's do a couple impressions then.
Cool. So we've got Elmo and Mark Wahlberg arguing about physical media.
All right, hold on a second.
And there was one more. I can't remember what it was.
Hey Elmo, I gotta tell you, man, I saw that you doing everything digital. You gotta get that happening on Blu-ray. You can't just push a button. That's not the way it goes.
Physical media is dead, old man. Everything is streaming now. You just gotta stream it and you just push a button. You got it. You don't have to put a disc in anything.
But Elmo, it's all about the pleasure of having the actual the DVD itself. And if you don't push a button, I'm gonna break your fucking legs, Elmo.
Yeah, but the physical media also has microchips in it, and they're tracking you, and they're listening to what you're saying through the physical media that you're purchasing.
Elmo, you don't really listen, okay? Here's the whole thing. You're going to digital, you're hitting the button. They know exactly where you are. What do you think happened to Sesame Street? They're gonna nuke that place.
Yeah, but I use ExpressVPN, so nobody knows where I'm at. So it's all good. The physical media is they're all listening devices. Are you listening to me?
All right, you're making a lot of sense here, you fucking Muppet. Go to the link in the description and get ExpressVPN today.
I mean, bonus points for putting one of our ads in.
I was gonna say that's dope.
All right, what's next?
And then the last one, Obama and Elmo debating on who's gonna win the matches tonight. So
what match?
We don't
NBA,
NBA, soccer. I know Brett's a big sports guy. So.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Good luck to you all.
Elmo, I don't know if you've been watching this, but the Milwaukee Bucks look terrible. I think the Miami Heat might actually take this. I'm very enthused. And your friend RB3, I know he's excited about that Laker game. LeBron's a good friend. I think he can do a lot of good things.
I don't know about any of these sports teams because I wasn't very good at sports, and all the other Muppets made fun of me, which is why I turned so evil.
Oh, Elmo, no, that's so sad because
just you talking about sports is making me so nervous.
Elmo, good lord, you gotta cut back. You're lactose intolerant. That's not good. I'm sorry.
God. You just bring back a lot of bad memories.
How do you get that out of your felt? That's disgusting.
Talk about Miami Heat.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you. It was great.
And once again, thank you for this was very humbling in the fact that you guys supported this show today to support the network and support the shows going forward. We are pumped about everything going on, and don't forget again, Kate and Plate. Kate and Plate. Kid and Play.
Kristian, I thought you said you were not getting stoned anymore before shows.
True. Not I didn't say this show. Kate and Fred.
Wendy's donated $20.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's. I thought I knew how to make a splash when rolling out new menu items like the Baconator and Dave's Double, but you all have outdone yourselves. Extremely excited for all the new shows, but especially Winston and Dan.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we really appreciate that. And once again, Kate and Brett's Playdate is today, 1:30 on SEN. Patreon, go on, head on over to that. We'd also like to thank RB3, Ben Goddard, for all their work behind the scenes, everything that they've been doing to help these shows get off the ground. And we cannot wait until the show's launch. It will be happening very soon. Reminder, Mondays.
Kristian's daughter donated $20. This old fart is just afraid he'll get more subs than him. Well, I found your credit card, Dad, and it's payback time for making me get off TikTok.
It's true. It's true. It's probably exactly what's going to happen. I think that was just a DeLorean that just put that in there.
Anthony donated $100.
Anthony.
Can I please get Elmo, Russian Ben, and Boston Kate trashing Kristian for Rainbows teasing about a Star Wars show. Love you all.
I'm gonna do Chicago, Kate.
Yeah.
If that's okay with Anthony.
So it's let
me read it.
Yeah.
I got it. Can I please get Elmo, Russian Ben, and Boston Kate trashing Kristian for dick teasing about a Star Wars show? Love you all.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Let's start.
I'll try Boston. I guess.
Go ahead. Good start.
You guys hear this bullshit about Kristian saying he was like, he just gave us the tip about a Star Wars show.
Well, you think this is 2007 or something? Come on, buddy. If you're going to give us the package, give us the package.
Kate, you were very popular in 2007 because, like communism, we all get you. We all got you in 2007. It was great. We have good time. But back to Star Wars show. Why you tease us like this, Kristian? Like, we get all of this. We want all. Not tip. We want all of it.
Yeah. Why you not? You talk about Star Wars nonstop on this show. Why don't you just take it to a different show so we don't have to listen to it?
Yeah.
Good stuff, Kate. All right. Thank you for joining us here today. Once again, on Mondays through Friday, SEN Live. That's That's right, SEN Live, Mondays through Fridays. Also on Monday, Winston Marshall and the Inner Geekdom Show. Winston A Marshall going to be on the Inner Geekdom Show hosting. Tuesday, Ben Bateman and The Crusher, Schmodown Backstage. All My Movies with Dan Murrell on Wednesdays. Thursdays will be coming up next with Jen Sturger, Brad Gilmore. The Movie Trivia Schmodown will be on Thursdays. And my show, One-on-One with Kristian Harloff, back on Thursdays. Fridays will be the Movie Trivia Schmodown. And Saturdays, Brad Gilmore, Frank Janish, the Schmodown Rundown. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you like it. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate it. Hope you love the new shows the way we do. And we will see you next week. Some of the crew might be here on Monday. I don't know. If they say, hey, I don't want to work, then they're not going to work. So, enjoy it. Thanks to RB3 for doing the show here today. Winston Marshall, Kate, Dan Murrell, Rachel Cushing, Ben Goddard, Brett Sheridan, the whole crew. All right, everybody. Peace out, Mother Earth.